Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 15 of the Visuals by Leo Studio podcast. It's me and my lovely co-host, Mr. Sergio, and we have an awesome creative in the building today, James Davis, a creative director, a photographer, and a studio owner.
Yeah.
Welcome, James.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, brother. This is, I think, one of the first times we have a studio owner on the podcast, and that's especially unique for me because I have recently opened up the space. So
Right.
I'm hoping to learn a lot from you, and I love that we had this connection now because I am going to have to always resort to some advice here or there.
I got you.
about opening studios. Tell me a little bit about your journey as a creative.
Yeah, for sure. I found it very young. I'll say that. So I started shooting when I was about, I'll say like 11 years old. Started filming at my church. Back then, this is, goodness gracious, like 25 years ago, my church started going on TV. So not necessarily streaming, but actually broadcast on television. And oh my God, that looks so cool. Like cameras, cables, big monitors and boards. I'm like, oh, like I want to try that. But I'm 11 years old. They're not putting me on anything. So they're like, oh, just like wrangle cables.
That's an advanced church.
Right.
You know, when you're 11, they're doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
Going live, multi-camera setups. It's pretty advanced for that day and age.
Yeah, it was the first time I've seen anything like that. But yeah, that's essentially how I got into it. That's when I first picked up a camera or got into, back then they would call it like just like media. I was like 11 or 12 years old, and that led into me filming family vacations and getting a MacBook and editing our family vacations together like a family video, but like actually produced and like filming like us waking up and like going to the airport and like going on a cruise ship and just cutting everything together. Then that led to me taking multimedia classes in middle school and high school, then eventually going to film school. I've gone to a few, but the one I actually graduated from, Full Sail University in Orlando. So all the way from 11 up until, I was an adult, like it was just that journey of pursuing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you went to film school. That's a surprise for me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the industry has changed a lot since you've been in school.
So much.
How do you feel like you're mingling? I met you through Francisco,
Right.
An amazing creative. And a lot of the arena is composed of people that are not formally educated.
Yeah.
How did you feel like formal education gave you an advantage? And did it give you an advantage?
Well, in the time that I went to school, it was definitely an advantage because you didn't have, the internet wasn't what it is today. It's like you had to go to school to learn this stuff, cameras, lighting, microphones. This stuff was not obtainable. This stuff was so expensive 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's like if you had a camera, you were that guy. If you had lights, oh my God, he has lights. So I'll say the entry level or the barrier to entry is so much lower now. So back then, you needed to go to school to learn this stuff. You couldn't just go on YouTube and learn how to set up a podcast, how to start a studio, how to do X, Y, and Z. That stuff wasn't there. So you definitely needed to go to school. But nowadays, I always tell people, especially like for this stuff, for like filmmaking, photography, pretty much anything creative, I say you do not need to go to school.
Interesting.
I would say there's many other resources online, master classes, courses, individuals that can teach you for a fraction of the cost what film school is. I mean, I'll throw out numbers. Film school when I went was $75,000. And that was in 2009. 75,000. You can do almost every course on the internet and still not pay $75,000.
Absolutely.
So that's my take on that.
Amazing insight.
Or just run and gun in the streets.
Yeah.
That's a good life lesson too.
Honestly, right? I mean, especially like I said, the barrier to entry these days is so much lower, and it's easier to get your hands on a camera. Go spend $500 on a mirrorless camera. Go out there and put yourself in that position and just shoot stuff. And
I guess from there on out, you're talking about like passion now, right?
Right.
Like yeah, you can just grab a camera now but are you gonna go do it? Are
Right.
you gonna take your time and just
Right.
go shoot around? I remember my days where when I first started, I just grab a camera and just go out in the street,
Right.
downtown Disney, downtown wherever, and just try to see what I can capture with my creative eye.
Right.
So you started at 11
Mm-hmm.
and all the way up to now.
Yep.
What is it that in like your film history that every single time you shoot, when someone starts, they grab a camera, it looks awesome. They take
Yeah.
a photo, that looks awesome. But then there's all the post-production. And then
Right.
that's where sometimes a lot of people stop because it's
Right.
like, oh, this is too much. I can't do this. Or this person, how did that person do that? I can't
Mhm.
learn that. What is it that keeps you motivated to just continue doing what you're doing?
Well, to go to the point where you're talking about people not wanting to do post production, I said I picked up a camera. You know, I was shooting stuff for my church, but on my own, naturally, I'm an editor first. So when I went to film school, and this was, you know, obviously years ago, you can pick not necessarily a major, but you can pick a focus. And my focus was I wanted to be an editor. So when they would divvy up the class and to do either short films or different parts of a film or whatever we're filming, this person will be a director because their focus is they want to be a director. So I always got selected to be an editor because that's what I wanted to do. And then it got to the point where I wanted to grow faster. So I started editing other people's projects outside of class. But I got tired of editing bad footage. So that's when I personally picked up a camera and started shooting music videos for people. So just that drive to want to be a better editor or to have better videos that are edited by me, I wanted to learn how to shoot. So now when I shoot videos, my brain is naturally editing as I shoot. So that's just how like I operate with
Are you a Marvel fan?
In a way, yes.
Okay. All I can think of is you had a Thanos moment. where You
Right,
put on the
right.
gauntlet and you said, fine, I'll do this myself.
seriously. I always tell people, like, especially like young directors or anyone that just wants to be a director, whether you're seasoned or not, sit in an editing bay, learn how to edit, learn how to draft a scene in editing, because when you're on set, literally, like when I shoot, I'm thinking of the edit. I know I need this shot to go with this shot. I'm literally editing on set. And I think for any director, that's monumental and is a huge asset and a huge gift for anyone to have.
I love that you say that, brother. A lot of times I'll film, I do a lot of event production, so
Mhm.
I film events. And because I'm in the heat of the moment and I'm capturing so many different things and
Mhm.
we're late on time and I want to
Right.
make sure that is their lab still working? There's so much that I'm doing. I don't prioritize in the same way a director, kind of in a director's hut, cover from the
Right.
sun, looking at a big monitor,
Mhm.
gets to analyze the shot.
Right.
So a lot of times I look at a shot and then I look at it when I get to my computer
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, that's not what I saw.
Right.
And it could be for so many reasons. It may be just, the stress that you're in, could be
Mhm.
the size of a small, Sony monitor. But I feel like a better director you become a better director when you can connect to that person sitting in the editing
Right.
chair
Right.
while you're shooting.
Right.
The more clear of a connection you have in that time travel,
Absolutely.
the more creatively direct and accurate
right.
your film is going to be.
Absolutely. I mean, coming up when I first moved to LA, I used to intern at a few different music video production companies, and the bigger budget music videos, they would literally have their editor on set.
Wow.
And so like that's a huge win for the editor and the director, because that connection's already happening before you stuff an editor in a room with a hard drive full of footage,
Yes.
So it's definitely done.
Absolutely. In the development of every career path, whether it be creative or non-creative, there's a phase of development which I call the war room.
Mm-hmm.
The war room is like for a restaurant owner, it's when he was he was doing the dishes. He was still working for someone else.
Right.
For a studio owner, what would that be for you? Like what's the war room? A phase where you were it was grit. Maybe you didn't pay that much, but you were just hustling and you were in the war room.
Definitely in my days living in LA. So I lived in LA from 2012 until I moved to OC in 2017. I mean, I had a war room out here in OC, but LA was really like, LA was a grind. I was doing like freelance projects, but I worked at a skating rink. I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch. I was driving Uber just to be in LA doing this type of stuff. And, you know, I had 5 roommates. Rent was $750 and I was struggling to make it.
Wow.
And I'm like, I always think about those days, and I feel like God honestly had me go through that stage in my life for me to, I'll say, I'm trying to think of the right word, but
for you to kind of appreciate what you have.
There you go. To appreciate where he was going to eventually take me. And,
yes,
you know, having my own studio was literally a dream that I didn't see that happening, like, at all. And to fast forward, I guess, to a second war room was when I wanted to open a studio. At this time, I'm already living in OC, but I'm at a full-time gig in LA. Even though I live out here, I'm in a full-time gig in LA, basically doing stuff like this, but full-on content creation for a company based in Korea.
Whoa.
And making great money there, benefits, everything. But I'm like, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not fulfilled. I'm like, I got the brand new car that I wanted. I'm making the most money I've ever made, but I'm not fulfilled. I'm like, I want to make a studio. I want my own studio in OC. I'm tired of coming to LA. Like, I want to be in OC, have my own spot. The day that I signed the lease to the studio, they let me go.
Whoa.
The same day. Because my whole thing was, okay, I'm going to keep this salary position for a while, you know, and continue to make money and fund this thing. God's like, nah. He's like, that's what you're supposed to do. So, like, I'll never forget it. The day that I think I signed it, I'm making up times, but it was probably like 2 hours later.
Whoa.
Like 2 hours later, name is on the dotted line, get the call. Hey, we're going into UGC content. So basically, I was their in-house production.
And now they don't need it.
They want to give it to influencers and content creators to do basically what they were paying me. And I was like, dude. So the studio became my war room, where it's like, you had to make this happen. I'm going to continue to push you to, you know, make this happen. And
was that almost immediately, or did you feel your heart drop?
Oh, my heart definitely dropped. But honestly, with me, like, I've always been a person of faith, and I'm like, all right, this is obviously God. It's meant to be. It was gonna happen, and I think it was also just a test of like where my faith was gonna be. It's like, are you gonna stress out? Are you gonna freak out? And just like how I was telling you, like how I was in LA, I couldn't pay $750 for rent, but I'm like, bro, now you're at a place where you can afford to get your own studio. If I can get you through that, why are you tripping about this? I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go.
What a beautiful way to interpret that.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that we're divinely guided in life. God has a plan. And I feel like the more pure the more you maintain the purity of your heart,
absolutely,
the more clearly you understand the messages that God's trying to send you.
Yeah.
So by you mentioning that happening in that timely manner, I can tell that you have done a lot to maintain the purity of your heart.
Absolutely.
Because you literally, like, God sends you the message in a very clear way. Mm-hmm. If you say that in any language to any person anywhere, they're going to be like, God did that. Like, it's very clear.
Right.
We talked about this in episode 1. I said that if you don't believe in God, just become a freelance filmmaker.
Seriously.
And you will, when rent time comes, you're struggling. That connection, I'm a spiritual person, but I never felt that my spiritual connection will be sharpened, and my sense is heightened by filmmaking and being a freelance business owner. Right. I never saw that coming.
Right.
Describe your journey as a spiritual person in this industry.
Man, this industry will definitely test your faith, and it'll build your faith as well. It's funny you even asked me that, because on the drive here, something came to my mind. It's like, your prayers will only go as far as your faith is, because you don't know what to pray for. Like, if you don't believe that you can have something, or you don't believe whatever the scenario is, you won't pray for that. Like, there was a time in my life, like I said, when I lived in LA and I had 5 roommates, my one prayer all the time was, and I didn't know how it was going to happen. My one prayer was, God, I thank you for the 1-bedroom apartment that you have just for me. I can say that verbatim to this because I prayed it every single day. That was like
Wow.
a big thing for me because I had 5 roommates and I'm like, dude, I can't take it. And what he did was move me out here to OC. I was working for a church, but I got my 1-bedroom apartment. All right, cool. My faith was now increased. So now I always tell people this, that faith is like the number one cheat code.
100%.
It's like the biggest cheat code. So in any situation, any scenario, like faith is core. It's right here.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. Sergio, have you had something like that? Like a moment where something hit, like switched up and then you're like, yeah, this is clearly is God. There's no other way to explain this.
Yes. I think we did talk about I was episode 1, by the way. And then
He's all grown up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I was working at a company here in Irvine, and they were paying really well, especially at that age. It was
Right.
I think like $15 an hour, which is crazy at
Wow.
that time. And it was oddly enough about photography. So we would take old photos that people had printed out. We would run it through a machine, and we convert
Wow.
them digitally. I was like their top guy. I was doing like big time celebrity photos.
Yeah.
I asked for a raise. They didn't want to give me a raise. One of the guys didn't like me, the owners or whatever. And then they did layoffs, and I was the last one that my supervisor laid
Wow.
off. He was in tears, and he couldn't believe that my name was on that list. So I get let go. Lost now. I don't know what to do. And I'm listening to Christian music and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then next thing you know, I'm hiking. I'm doing photos with my phone, and Francisco encourages me to buy a camera and to try to do stuff with it, you know.
Right.
And he took me on, and I started at the church too.
Wow.
And I was taking photos there, and I mean everything there is already set for you.
Right.
The lighting, the
Right,
people look
right.
good, everyone's dressed
Right.
up. So it's like now it's just for you to be creative with it.
Right.
And then I meet my mentor there, and then I'll cut it short. Sorry.
No, I love this.
Okay,
No,
okay, good.
yeah, I'm just
At
staring
some
because
point-
I'm excited. But yeah,
At some point, my mom tells me that my dad used to be a photographer, and so there's all these little things start like
Lining up.
lining up, and but it all goes back to like for me and my faith and like getting let go from a job that was I thought very secure, and I was gonna stay there for a long time with the pay
Right.
and everything, and then it just like changed my life when I got let go, and now I'm so grateful that happened. Because if it wouldn't have, I probably would have stayed there and wouldn't
there, yeah.
found my passion.
Right.
And but I always like to say that I love hearing people's struggles, because I wouldn't want to listen to the person that didn't struggle and try to
Right.
tell me how
100%.
Yeah.
to move up in the world. So I appreciate the story that you got going on, and it's cool. Like it's awesome to look back at now, because it's
Yeah.
like I came from there.
Yep.
And we're just grateful now to be where we're at right now.
Absolutely. And that thing you said about people not struggling and these online courses that pop up online, it's like these guys that were born already financially healthy, everything's
Right.
going well, and they're trying to teach you, and
Right.
they have the audacity to talk about your struggles in your name, and it's kind of it's an abuse of the power that they have because
Right.
they're in a better financial state.
Right.
I love your journey. I love I love that you had multiple war rooms already.
Yeah.
I don't have that many, but I know that when God wants to elevate you, He tests you, and these war rooms are these testing grounds to
Yeah.
get you ready for the next step. So every creator gets into creativity and filming, photographing, designing spaces, not because of the money, but because they love it,
Right.
and they think about money after the fact.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you have a kid or you get married or things start to get financially more and more complicated.
Right.
What is the next step for creators? Is the elevation from the standard freelancer, is it opening a space? What you did? How do you feel? What are the steps that you've gone through that you feel are elevating?
Well, I'll say it's not natural, but I'll say what needs to become natural is, it's funny, I was just having this conversation yesterday, is most creatives just stay creative, but you have to look at yourself as a business. Look at yourself as an entity. That's something I learned only during COVID times in 2020. That's when I'm still technically I'm a freelancer, but I'm a business. Like I'm an actual LLC. I'm like, I don't, like, God forbid, I'm doing a shoot and a light falls. Now they're coming after James Davis. They're not coming after the business. Once I clock that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to stop moving like just a guy with a camera. It's
Yes.
like sending invoices through QuickBooks and doing everything legit, having, like I said, having an LLC, having an EIN number, all that stuff. A lot of creatives don't think that far. So I will say like that needs to become the next natural step.
Yes.
Is to
make it official.
Is think business minded. Now for me, when you brought up studio, I think of, do I want to shoot forever? Like I'm 35. I'm not going to want to be, I mean, I'm blessed to travel the world doing this stuff. Like I've been many of places. I've been everywhere. Do I want to do that when I'm 45 years old and I have, you know, a wife, kids? Do I want to just stop everything? So that's where the studio kind of came in mind. And it's very like early in the genesis right now, but it's like, I'd rather have something that just makes money on the side and it's just going, and it doesn't necessarily need all of my time and energy. Like, yes, I put time and energy into the studio. I'm there a lot. I manage most of our bookings. Like when people rent our studio, I'm the one, or my fiance, we're letting them in, we're greeting them, we're making sure it's good. We're the ones actually scrubbing and cleaning the studio every week. We don't hire a service or anything like that. So it's just like, I want to have something that is just there that will continue to create income for the both of us and doesn't necessarily always need me to physically pick up a camera. So,
Yes, definitely. Maybe along the lines of passive income,
right.
or at least more passive than.
Right.
I always think about that. Like when I'm filming an event or, you know, setting up lights, I'm like, this is so like I have to be here, not just physically, like mentally.
Yeah.
My phone is on silent. Like I am so consumed by this thing that I'm doing. And if I'm not at this level of consumption, I'm either not going to deliver at the highest quality,
Right.
and then someone else is going to take my position,
Right.
or I'm not going to deliver. I'm not going to polish my craft to get good enough to even charge a big amount of money. So
Right.
I love that you're talking about that, and I need to keep that in my bucket list. Like start thinking about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's essentially where this studio came from.
Yeah.
You know, it's podcast. It's not as versatile as the space you have, and it's not as flexible. And I'm sure you guys do a lot more things, but it's that. It's like I wanted to see something that I feel like I'm constantly pushing like a square block
Yeah.
as a filmmaker. Now with the studio, I feel like it's a ball. I feel
Yeah.
like once you push it, it will roll a little bit longer.
Right.
I don't have to be there just flipping it over every single time.
Exactly.
That is so cool. So as a creative, so there's always, you said that it's very important to become a business.
Yeah.
At the same time, becoming too business-like makes you forget, you know, your creativity, the passion.
True.
How do you feel, bro? What do you do right now after all these years of experience, all the film, the shooting that you've done, all the creativity you've participated in? What is something you do? You're like, oh man, this is the creative juice right here. I love doing this.
I mean, it's sad. Music videos is honestly where I get a lot of my joy. I used to be a musician when I was younger. I used to play the clarinet, the saxophone, the piano, the viola, and
That's crazy.
The Swiss Army knife.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and I used to. My parents opened up a skating rink when I was in high school, and they were like, "We don't have a DJ, so you have to learn how to DJ." So they literally got me like they put me in DJ classes. So I learned how to not naturally. I learned how to. I'm classically trained. Like I know how to spin on vinyl. So DJing and all the other instruments, like music, is like embedded in me. But music videos was where I got that joy. Like that's where I get really, really excited. But the way that the music industry and like social media and things are right now, I don't do it as much. So I'm the type where I used to shoot anywhere from 15 to 20 music videos a year. Last year I shot 4.
Wow.
And that just shows you the trajectory of where the industry is and how it's going. I actually just got inquired for my first music video this year for next week.
Wow.
And it's basically August.
Wow.
And I used to do 15 to 20. So that's where the joy really is, but I don't get to express it a lot. And as of lately, we were kind of talking about how being a photographer and director, and now you have the term content creator, all that is starting to be merged together. And in the beginning, when I was doing content creation, I thought very business minded, like showing tutorials. Oh, this is how you operate this. This is what this thing does. Oh, this is how you get better colors. This is how you edit. Like, you know, just trying to be business minded, like, oh, like I can teach people stuff. But what I've been doing recently and what I've been seeing, or where I've been receiving more joy, is just being me. And I created a personal brand, and it's all centered around the fact of my love of photography. But instead of it being strictly photography and strictly tutorial based on how to do this, or this is what I struggled with, it's just more personal. Like some of the things I struggled with, how I did this, how I met my fiance, us traveling, me with my dog. Oh, this is me setting up lights in my studio, but making it cool instead of just like, take this light, put it here. Just embracing me in that, but expressing it through the medium of photography and videography. That's where I've been getting the most joy as of lately, because I can just be creative, and no one can tell me how to be me. You know?
Yeah, once again, we're going into that space where it's like, once you remove the title of work, we get to go and have fun with what we already have the skills to do.
Right.
That's something that I was dealing with too, where it's like, I have all this work that I enjoy doing. I enjoy shooting and doing all that. But once I'm like caught up and I get to have a free day, I get excited, because now I get to do something where I just been wanting to do for a while, and no one's telling me what to do, and I can, practice, trial and error, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're explaining right now. It's just, he being able to just do you is something that we all have inside. But once we remove work out of it, it's like, oh, this is fun.
100%. And I love that you mentioned that, Sergio, because Sergio is one of the people that I see where in his off days, he's still doing creative things. So he just got a Polaroid camera. Is that what it's called?
It's a digital camera and Polaroid. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Digital, and it's a hybrid. Digital and prints out Polaroids.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a hybrid.
And we've been having so much fun with it. Like those are the I've been so caught up in my business that I try to not touch any cameras or anything film or photo related.
Yeah.
Sergio is like literally bringing these new creative outlets and stuff. And I honestly, I admire that. I like that you do that. Like it's so cool that you.
It's because we're around people like Frankie, Jojo, yourself, like you guys bring cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you saw I walked in with two.
Yeah, Dulce has two of them right there. Yeah, right behind the cameras there. And so I got inspired by them, but the rule that I had for this camera that I wanted to get was no matter what, I cannot call it a profession. I can't bring this to a wedding because it's not that pro level. That allows me to play with it. Allows me to just have fun with it.
What those are. So that one right there.
Can we
Yeah, you can grab it. Yeah. So that's the Fuji X100V.
Fuji X100.
Yeah.
That's the one I was playing with. That's the one my sister had.
This is the one, him one? Why does this look so like?
No. That's the one that my sister, the one I was playing with initially.
Okay.
Right? The one I'm trying to steal, but she just won't let it go. And then I got two other Fujifilms.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now I love that thing. I mean, so you could use it at a wedding, but it's definitely, as you see, it's more point and shoot, just like in the moment.
Lenses,
no lens, like it's just
not raw. Or
I mean, you can shoot raw,
but it's not.
But I don't edit any of the photos out of it. I shoot JPEG. There's a ton of different film simulations in here.
Exactly.
I can build my own film simulations in here. Basically, if you guys don't know, presets. So that way, I literally don't have to edit anything. And she loves it because we take it everywhere. We take it like if we're just going on a walk. Oh, bring the Fuji. It's just those in the moments. And when I am doing a job, I do use it sometimes just for those like behind the scenes, like in the moment, because it just looks different.
Yeah.
And there's no pressure behind it. Like you said, there's no interchangeable lens. You get what you get.
Exactly.
That's it.
100%.
So
and this is a great lead up into my next question. When did you meet Dulce?
So we met in 2021, June of 2021, summer of 2021.
And I'm right now. I'm single, and I'm in the pursuit of finding a significant other. And I'm wondering what life's going to be like as a creative, with this creative stress, with the financial, all the tides and turns. How has finding the right person for you changed your life as a creative?
Well, one, I'll say I prayed specifically for someone like her. I always knew that whoever I ended up with, they had to be a creative as well, because they would have to understand, this lifestyle, the hours, the stress that comes with it. So they would have to be in that field, because they would also, in some capacity, go through that as well. But can you ask me your question.
So yeah, how has your, like, I'm right now struggling with like, how is a girl going to understand this?
Right.
Like, how's she going to understand this world? But are you a photographer, Dulce? Are you makeup artist? So you're also an artist. So she relates. So
yeah.
maybe one thing I can take right out the gate is find an artist.
Right.
Be with someone who's an artist so they can support.
Right.
Did you feel like, meeting Dulce, having this relationship with another creative, how has it impacted your career, your journey? What changed?
Well, I have someone that I can have reassurance in. So like whenever I want to make a decision, I can always relay it back to her and see what her thoughts are on it. And I feel like that's natural in any relationship, but with her being a creative person, obviously wanting to elevate in life, us both being God-fearing, like we're both aligned. So I think even just in the pursuit of finding someone, making sure that you guys are aligned and making sure you just have the right values. And I'll say when I first was like really like trying to find someone, I say I was trying to find someone instead of just letting God present the right person. I was just telling him like we met in the most random way. This was in a season where I was like looking. I was looking, like heavy looking. And one day I went out with some friends. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go out and have fun. I'm leaving to go home. I'm walking out of a bar and she's walking past it. So literally we just met like this. I was like, wow, you're gorgeous. She's like, thanks. It just keeps moving. And I go my way. I'm waiting for my Uber. I see her maybe like 5-10 minutes later eating tacos with her friends. And we sparked up another conversation. We're talking about God. She tells me she's a makeup artist. I'm like, oh my God, like you're perfect. And she's like, oh, like our conversation's great, but I do have a boyfriend. I'm like, no. I think I literally like fell on the floor, like acting all dramatic. I was like, no. And then, we ended up exchanging Instagrams because with her being a makeup artist, I was like, well,
at least I can use the service.
Yeah, at least we'll get to work together if that ever comes about. And then like 4 months later, she hit me up in the DM.
Okay.
but yeah, like 4 months later, we started talking again. She's like, oh, I'm not in a relationship anymore. I would love to get to know you. And then 4 months from there, we made it official. That's dating.
Incredible. What an incredible story, man. I'm literally like, I'm Muslim. So like it's I want to find someone who's Muslim, and there's an app where you find like other Muslims and stuff like that. And I always wanted a story. Like I'm kind of, I feel like I'm letting go of the potential of a story like that where we met and this happened. It's like, oh, how did you get, mom and dad, how'd you guys meet? Well, there's this app called blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I do feel like I'm surrendering to this concept of having, because we're such a minority, and it's hard to find people, with the same values. And even as Muslims, just like Christians, there's different levels of belief. It's hard to find someone that connects with you. So these apps are supposed to structure that in like a very scientific way. I'm like, dude, I don't want this to be my thing. So sometimes I'm matching with people, but I'm like, I'm hoping that. So where was that bar exactly?
And ironically enough, you want to catch this? It was right around the corner from our studio.
Yeah.
That's cool. Bananas.
Literally right around the corner. And this is before the studio was a thing. Way before the studio was even a thought in my head.
Wow. God's plan, man. God's plan. Yeah. Well, what do you think you do? And I don't want to repeat topics, but the purity of your heart, like I feel like you have that. And that's why these things are happening that are so clear.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to throw in a little story. So I've been doing podcasts for clients for a while. And there was this time where I was so focused on my work and on point with my spirituality. Like I was doing everything I needed to do, sleeping on time. And this thing happened multiple times where I was doing podcasts for my client, and every week he invites someone new. I don't know who they are. They're his. I just produce the podcast.
Right.
And every week for like 3 weeks straight, I would meet the guest before they show up on the podcast week before, without even knowing. One of them, we literally were in LA in an elevator, and I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. She's like, yeah, I do Pilates. I'm like, oh, amazing. Well, you're an amazing person. Bye. And then she pulls up to the studio that I built for my client. I'm like, what are you doing here? She's like, I'm a guest with Jack.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. So for me, cool. to build up this question, for me, what I do to create that connection with God and start feeling like everything's on time is that I do my part. I don't slack. Like what's your thing? How do you preserve your heart?
Well, I start each day and I call it like a devotion. I have this book. It's called 365 Days of Prayers for Men. So that's how I start pretty much every day. So either it's that or I'm just praying or I just read the Bible. That just sets the whole playing field for the day for me. And with that, whatever comes, I feel like my stance is already, like my foundation's already like chill. It's already good. So like no matter what happens, like if it's something good or something that, you know, I wasn't really expecting. And I think it also just goes back to what I was talking about, like with my faith. It's like, I'm not a easily rattled person. I'm pretty much like this all the time. Like I've even had clients, there's this one client, whenever he calls, he's like, my goal in life is to call you and you just sound so hyped and ecstatic. You're just so chill. I'm like, that's just how I am. Like I'm just zen like that. I'm just like that. Yo ass, like I'm just
I love
chill.
that.
I don't really let anything get to me. It's like if it gets to me, it's like, okay, it's, you know, it's something big, but I still try to, you know, work through it. There have been times where I've cried in her arms about, I mean, it's just stuff with the studio. The studio isn't easy. And it's a big financial like undertaking. Like it's a lot, you know, so I've had times where I'm like, oh my God, like what am I supposed to do with this? But that lasts for like a few hours and I'm like, all right, let's go. Yeah.
Pray about it and surrender. Absolutely. I love that. You know, I love that you mentioned personality types. Like I can tell, bro, I love your energy. You're so
Thank
calm
you.
and like, and it's it's not like let's go to sleep calm. It's like let's figure out what we're going to do.
Right. Right.
And me and Sergio, you know, I met this gentleman not too long ago and he was episode 1 and it was not planned. I was like, brother, you have to, if you can come to these podcasts, I would love for you to be a co-host.
Yeah.
And he hasn't missed anything since then. And
Came with a warning, man. I was like, I'm warning you, man. I'm going to show up.
I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
But the main reason was that the personality type you're talking about. So I'm a very loud, impulsive, energetic. I say what's on my mind, and I'm always in this state. Like people sometimes feel like, okay, well, is he faking it? Like, is he one of those fake positive guys? But like, I'm actually always like this all the time. Just like you're always like Zen, right?
Yeah.
He's a walking words of affirmation.
That's
man.
dope.
Like, for
I mean,
you.
as soon as we walked in, bro, what is your cologne? And I'm like,
Same thing.
like, yeah.
Yeah, we see each other a lot, and it's a surprise each time he sees me. He's like, bro,
Right.
you look fresh. What did you do?
Actually, that was the first thing he said. He's like, bro, you're fit. Like, you look fresh. And as soon as he opened the door, what is your cologne?
I stopped him. I said, do you say these things in a mirror, man? Because you need a Leo in your life.
Right.
Because you need to say this to yourself, man.
Right.
This is great.
Yes, sometimes it's too much. Like we're lucky enough to have had a conversation, know each other, so you start to understand. Like, all right, this is his personality. But like for a lot of people in the street, it's like electricity, and they walk away from it. Like, what's going on? What does he want? Type of energy, right? And Sergio is very calm, right? So I need that, especially in a podcast, because I feel like I would overwhelm somebody. I would just be like bam, 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 and it would be too much. So very thankful for you, bro.
Yeah, of course.
That's
Yeah. So, you know, you having this personality, you were in LA and LA is not the way you are.
No.
How did you feel resistance? Like,
it's interesting. I felt like I was fighting to stay there. Like when like I said, I lived in LA from 2012. So I was 22. I literally just turned 22, fresh out of college, until 2017. So 27. It was like, honestly, it was like going up an uphill battle that I honestly didn't see where life was gonna go. Honestly, like I already told you guys about like how I had all these roommates and just trying to get by, only paying $750 for rent each month. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. How is this gonna happen? The opposition, you know, I feel like I had lots of opportunities still. Things were moving. I met people. It's funny. I met people in LA that eventually were the reason why I succeeded in Orange County. So there was this one girl, I'll give her a shout out. Her name's Melody Hernandez. Well, she just got married. So Melody, I don't even know her last name anymore. She got a new last name.
yeah.
But I'll wait for that.
Ambulances, guys. We're located in Old Town Orange, right next to the fire department. I always use it as a advertisement
good.
opportunity.
right.
But, yeah, go for it.
But no, I met her in, I want to say like 2013 in a studio session. Like I said, I was heavily like around music stuff. So, met her at a recording session. Then she ended up hiring me to do like videos for her, like music videos for her, photo shoots for her. And then she ended up moving to Orange County to start a worship. Essentially start a worship label at a church in Anaheim Hills. Fast forward to 2017, she randomly calls me at like midnight, and I'm like, why in the world? I haven't talked to this girl in years. Why is she calling me? So I answer, and she's like, hey, sorry for calling so late. No, it's random, but our church, they're looking for a videographer. They're looking for someone to do videos for our label and all this stuff. Like, would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure, why not? At this time, I'm 26 at the time, and I'm like, things have not necessarily progressed the way that I thought. And I've been in LA since I was 22, so I'm like, yeah, this could be something a little bit different. Why not? So I take the interview with the pastor, and at the time, I'm shooting models, I'm shooting music videos, and they're like, yeah, we really love your stuff, but we want you to work here. And I'm like, you guys like my stuff? You guys want me to work here at a church? Because at the time I'm shooting stuff that is not
religious.
It's not religious at all.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I can see that you have taste, and I can see that you understand like the craft, but we also know that you're a Christian. So we want that.
They want that world. Yeah.
In here. And that's how I ended up in Orange County.
Whoa.
That's literally how I ended up here. So they hired me, and I'm like, listen, I'll work here, but I'm not leaving LA. And they were like, oh, we really want you to move out here. We want someone that's going to be OC based, and, we want you here. And I was like, not happening. They're like, all right, listen, we'll basically put you on like a probation thing. So for 3 months, I drove from Van Nuys to Anaheim Hills.
Oh my God.
Every day.
Oh my God.
Except Saturdays. I did that for 3 months. And then I was like, listen, I think it's time for me to move to OC. And they were down and ready for me to do it. That's how I got my 1-bedroom apartment. So I feel like my elevation was rooted in my obedience. That just came out of nowhere.
So good.
And honestly, moving out here changed my life. Like in OC is not where I wanted to be. I never thought I wanted to be in Orange County, especially now as a 35-year-old. I could not even fathom living in LA.
Yes.
Especially at the stage I am in my life, almost, engaged, soon to be married. We want kids. Couldn't see myself raising a family in LA, but I can see that for sure here in OC, definitely more than LA. But my career has skyrocketed, not even being in the creative hub, which is LA, but I'm outside of it. I have my studio outside of the creative hub. I've made more money outside of the creative hub. I've met my future wife outside of that hub. So it's like the opposition was clear. It's like, okay, you were meant to be there for a time, but you were meant to, to move over somewhere else. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's so much to ponder over, bro. What a journey. I feel like every creative has a very unique journey, and every creative ends up in a different space. Like some people, they end up in the wedding space. Me and Sergio, we do a lot of weddings. Some people go down some people succeed in the LA route, and it just fits their personality, and they have that fiery energy, and that's just how they are. Maybe not the funnest topic, but how are you feeling about AI now, bro?
AI, it's not going anywhere, and I use it. You just have to, the times are always going to change. There's always going to be something that's going to be the opposition of what we do, if you look at it that way. In my sense, I'll say in the photo world, it's been tremendous for my workflow. It's like, so I do a ton of brand work for in the photography space. So we actually just did a shoot today for a fashion line, and I'm shooting at least 1,000, 1,500 images during a session, all e-commerce style, shooting models. And I let the client go through and select their images. So they may turn around, let's say 200 images, and I have to edit them. I still like to physically edit my images because I just like my look, but retouching 200 images is insane. It's like going through, making sure each model looks the best that they can look, making sure the clothing looks exactly how the designer wants it, how the brand wants it to look, making sure the backdrop isn't dirty, make all these things that you don't really think about all the time. That, you know, at one point in time in my career, I was doing it manually. Now I can literally, and this, I don't want any of my brands like that I work for to knowing this, but I literally edit all my images, then I throw them in a AI system that I have. In 20 minutes, my entire shoot is done.
That's insane.
Done. So It all depends on how you look at it. Now, obviously, you have this new AI like Google VO. Is that scary?
Scary stuff.
It's scary. But what I always tell people is like, for especially like you guys are in the wedding space. People, like they're people. They're not entities. They're not brands. They're not companies. They're still gonna need their wedding captured.
100%.
Newborns, like mothers are still gonna need their newborns captured. Birthday parties are still gonna need to be captured. There are a multitude of things that are still gonna need to be captured. Now, when it comes to like the commercial space, it's a little bit different. I mean, the amount of AI commercials that I see is kind of crazy. Like it's 100% AI. I mean, it just shows that, you know, you can't necessarily just depend on this, because you just don't know what's gonna happen. It's unpredictable these days, and that's why I'm glad. I mean, I always tell people to be multifaceted, whether it's in photo and video. I mean, I feel like there was a time where they say just be the master of one thing and just be that guy for that. I've never stuck to that. Like I picked up a video camera when I was young, started taking photos. Once I moved to LA, all these models like, oh, take pictures of me. I'm like, I don't really like taking pictures of people. I thank God, like one of my best friends, she's a model, and she was like just take pictures of me for Instagram. And I'm like, okay, whatever. That opened me up to taking pictures of people. Now I'm shooting for brands and I'm shooting campaigns. And I thank God for that, because it helped me get to where I am now. But I mean, if I only stuck to video, oh my God, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember people would always they told me in the beginning, it's like, just master one thing, man. It'd be more dangerous mastering one. And then there's that famous quote, you know, the master of one, the jack of all trades. But then years later, I find out, and I'm a botch it, but years later, I find out that there's more to that.
I recently heard that. It's a longer quote.
Yeah. And it's a master of one.
Jack of all trades. Master of none. But a jack, okay, I don't want to.
But basically, a jack of all trades is sometimes more dangerous than a master of one.
Right.
Okay.
It's basically that. And then when I heard the rest of that, I was like, okay, I did do something right. Because, like now I can, and now, like you said, like a lot of people, when they need a photographer or a videographer, like, I can do both. All right, cool. Right. Let me hire you to do this while I do that.
Right.
And it's helped me out as well to be able to do all these other multiple like gigs and stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, and most of the time, a lot of these brands, most of them, they want both. They want they want photo and video. And if they can hire one person to do it, they'll do it. Obviously, like then you get into the territory of like, okay, is it better to have multiple people doing it? Which in some cases, I agree. It's better to have a photo guy and a video person and, you know, just have it separate. But, you know, people are cutting costs. So if they can find a person that can efficiently do both, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
100%. Yeah, AI is one of those tricky topics of like, well, like you said, if it wasn't AI, there's going to be something else out there that's competing. And you just mentioned not too long ago that content creators, people that just have an iPhone and they're shooting with that, and respect to them. I consider them artists. Everybody's an artist, but I feel like back in the day, there was only one destination to go to if you needed photo and video. There's photographers and videographers,
right? And
you didn't need to be educated on what professional photo and video brings to the table for you to what's the word? Not search, seek, for you to seek it.
Yeah.
So now with there being this whole array of diverse services where, you know, you can bring a content creator to your wedding.
Yeah.
Well, for someone who doesn't know, they're like, well, isn't he just documenting? Aren't iPhones really, really good at like photo and video? Like, isn't that enough? Then it's there's a new task that we have to take on, which is
Right.
we have to take on the active role of mass education,
Right.
of content creation. Does one thing. It
Mhm.
without a doubt documents. You're going to have stories for days, but it's not going to be in a medium or shot in a proper way for you to remember for centuries.
Right.
Oh, sorry, for decades. So I feel like, yeah, now this is a new task that we have to take on. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
well, as a photographer, this is what my camera does.
Yeah.
It's not just the camera; it's the person behind it and things
Yeah.
like that. With technology coming out, there's also cool, fun little gadgets and gear and things. And
Mhm.
every time I buy a new thing, I'm like, oh my god, this is the whole world, right? Like
Yeah.
the first time I got a wide lens, dude, it blew my mind. I'm like, I could do all these things and get close, and you
Yeah.
get these funky looks, and it's great for things like music videos.
Yeah.
And then I get an A7S III later along the line. I'm like 4K 60,
Yeah.
10-bit coloring. For you right now, being a veteran, gone through so much stuff. What's the cool flashy toy that you have right now? Like,
Well, obviously, I love my Fuji. I'll say my fun flashy toy.
but not necessarily to play with, but actually like to deliver. Like if you're trying to deliver a hard project, like you're
Mhm.
going all the way. What's a new thing? It could be a software, it could be a lens, it could be a camera. Are we talking red? Are we talking like what's your thing? Like this is my joker. Like this is the card that I throw, and it's like this is my strong point.
So I have two. I'll say I just got one. So I just got a Sony A7R5
Oh, okay. Love that.
and love that camera. So I actually just transitioned all the way from Canon. All my gear from Canon to
Ooh.
Sony. Like this is recent, like the last month. So,
Wait, are you Canon?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
It's
he's
like-
From
clapping.
Canon to Sony.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sorry. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, why is he clapping?
Yeah.
Canon
So yeah,
Sony.
I just did that transition. So like, it's not necessarily new to me, but I've shot Sony before, but being all in on Sony, I'm like, oh wow. But so the Sony A7R5, gorgeous, it's beautiful, and
Shoots 8K, right?
it shoots 8K, but there's no reason why you should never
Yes.
shoot 8K.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just amazed by it. Like, it's a new toy, but it's also a tool. So I'm just
Powerful
like,
tool.
it's crazy. It's 61 megapixels. We just did a shoot literally a few hours ago. It was my first in studio shoot with it. First frame, I'm like, bro, what in the world? Like, this looks
Wow.
crazy.
Sony A7R5.
Yeah, Sony A7R5.
And video? Did you ever use it for video?
Yeah, so we just went on a cruise last month, and I took it on our cruise just to test it out, just to see what the video was like. Absolutely beautiful. It shoots 10-bit color, S-Log 3. Absolutely. So what it does, it's downsampling the 8K into 4K.
I love when cameras do that.
Right.
The first camera I ever picked up that does that downsampling thing was the Sony A7 III.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it, I was like, it's 4K, but it's so sharp. What is it?
Yeah.
And then I read about it's a bunch of megapixels. It
Yep.
reads all of them, and
Yep.
then it reinterprets it into a smaller
Right.
resolution. And I'm like, that's such an amazing way to get very high resolution stuff without crazy
Yeah, exactly.
file sizes.
Right.
But yeah, I'm very excited to try that camera out. That's gonna be exciting.
It's amazing. And then my second one, it's something that I've had for a while, but it's Sony ZV-E1, which is basically the content creator version of the FX3 or even the A7S III. I don't know which one it is, but the A7S III. Same exact sensor, same exact colors, which is crazy. And it kind of goes back into what I was saying, like how the professional world and content creation is being merged. So the fact that Sony made a content creation version of one of their flagship cinema cameras and just put it in a plastic body
Crazy.
and made it half the price, but it has the same exact color, same exact internals and everything as their flagship is crazy.
Is this the way he persuades you when he's gonna buy a new toy?
Kind of. I'm like, listen,
Listen,
like,
that's awesome.
because I shoot her content too. So yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah. The way I talk to my fans.
Right.
Listen, it's this one,
Yeah.
but in much smaller,
Yeah.
and half the price.
Yep.
Yeah.
Half
That's
the
so
price.
funny.
Half the
And she
price.
says, I'm like, it's already in the car. I'm sorry.
Right. But what I do have in the cart that I haven't, because like I said, I just transitioned over from Canon, a 70 to 200 G Master. I just sold my 70 to 200 from Canon, And we did our shoot today, and I'm like, I need a 70 to 200, but for Sony.
But have you seen the 50 to 150?
I have seen it, but that's more expensive than the 70 to 200.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And I'm like,
So, brother, 70 Tamron 70 to 180. If you're okay not going G Master, I think we're shooting on one of those. Amazing lens, very sharp.
well, did you know that Tamron is Sony?
No way.
Tamron is basically just like the budget. Like they're owned by Sony.
Right.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's
But
insane.
I have the 35 to 150.
35
Gotcha.
to 150 is bananas.
It's
Really?
amazing.
2.8 all throughout. 35 to 150, and it's like $1,800. So yeah, definitely versatility, but you have to go to the third party companies.
Right.
It's 2.0, 2.8. So at 35, it's at 2.0.
That's still fast.
Yeah. And I think it has some macro capabilities on the wide end. So she was saying that she gets the perk of like amazing content for her makeup stuff. How do you, having access to a makeup artist for all your shoots now, how's that changed?
Oh, so I've baked her into all of my packages. So I'm like, it's this price. Well, what I've done, I've baked in my studio and her into all of my rates. So when brands reach out, they're like, oh, we need e-commerce, or we need headshots, or we need this or whatever. I bake
makeup. You need makeup.
Yep. And they always need makeup. I always bake my studio in, I bake her in. And having a makeup artist, like most people, not most, but a lot of people overthink it until they get it done. And they're like, oh, what? Even if it's just touch-ups or basic like cleanup just to make you look good, they're like, oh my God, yeah, like that's
for real.
Like that's perfect. Like we need that.
Yeah, honestly, my workflow is shifting a lot more towards like, okay, when I first started out, I was like, I want to shoot in, 6K log. I go like super crazy with preparing myself for pre-production and giving myself options. But what that does is it's more taxing on the files. It's more creative work. It takes a lot of time to turn the projects around. It takes a lot of time to offload the media to computer, and you understand how complicated things get. I've been pushing myself towards like, I color grade, like even these podcasts, I shoot in Rec 709.
Okay.
So if I already have like a hair light in place, I have the lights in the back. I try to even color on the spot in Rec 709 if I can.
Right.
And I think a makeup artist is the next step to that. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't even have to do any little Gaussian blurs on the skin or anything. They're ready.
Right.
And I can have the project ready like twice as fast because I don't have to do anything. So
I mean, definitely having a makeup artist makes that whole post-production asset or facet of it so much faster. Like I was talking about retouching before. Like obviously like my AI stuff like still helps, but there have been times where I've had to like save a person through retouching.
masks and
It's been crazy, but having a makeup artist, it makes it so much easier.
absolutely. And hopefully we can get her contact info and
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
we can also benefit. Any closing statements?
No, man. I mean, I'd want to hear a little bit more about your studio. Some of the coolest things you've seen happen at your studio, or when did you feel like this is now a more of a success story, rather than crying on your shoulders, thinking like, what am I doing? Yeah,
Right.
like when did you feel that happen for you, where it's like this is a staple now?
Yeah, so the studio it's always up and down. I'll say that, and I think that's in any business really. Like when we first opened, obviously you're in the honeymoon phase. It's your new baby. It's your new thing, your new venture.
That's how I'm feeling right now, bro.
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, and we still love it. And the one cool thing about it is that just having different creatives and different productions come through, and just walking in and seeing it completely different than what it was 20 minutes ago. It's like we've had films shoot there, and like they've made the studio a classroom, or like a classroom.
Whoa.
Like half of it was a classroom, half of it was like a principal's office. And I'm like, bro, this is just a photo studio, but people like they get creative and they do crazy stuff in there. And but from a business aspect of it, it's like I said, it's up and down. Like there have been times where, I've had to put my own money into it. It's like I'll say we basically depend on bookings, like people to rent the studio for us to pay for the rent, utilities and everything. And it's not cheap because we're right in downtown Santa Ana. And it's not cheap real estate at all. So we're paying a premium for where we are because of where we are. So we depend heavily on people, booking the studio. But last year this time was like the scariest because I was putting in like $2,000, $2,500 a month out of my own money. Thank God, you know, I was blessed enough to have a lot of productions on my own side, like making money that way to fund that. So it was a very scary time. You know, like I said, I was crying on her shoulder. I'm like, this is crazy. This is too much. Back and forth with our landlords. And it's just the part of it that you don't necessarily think about. It's like, I just want to create, but there's a business behind it and there's business struggles. And those are the things you kind of have to deal with when you have like your own space, when you have a business. But you know, obviously it's a year later. We've gone through it. We've been there almost 2.5 years now. But even our lease there is actually almost up in February. So now it's like, do we continue? Do we, you know, extend our lease? Do we leave? Do we go somewhere else? It's like I said, it's up and down. It's like those battles that you have to go through and think of. And you have to just think, okay, yeah, I love this place. But do you let it go? Because does it make sense? Especially with the way the economy is now too, you know, with the advancement of AI, a lot of brands don't see the need to do photo shoots, you know? We can just do it all in AI, or we can shoot one frame and put it in ChatGPT and prompt 30 different types of images. And so there's a lot of different facets that, you know, as a owner, I have to think about, because I have to separate the creative I have to separate myself as creative and business, and I have to, you know, be logical as well. So
Yes. For the viewers, what does a typical booking look like? What's the process?
So typical booking, either on the photo side or video side. So we typically rent out to vast majority of portrait shoots or video shoots. Video shoots, like I said, can be commercials, short films, interviews. We've even had podcasts at our studio. And then we also host a ton of family portraits, people that have like startup brands or clothing lines, stuff like that. So we're on Peerspace, so people usually find us through there, or we have our website. People find us just through Google SEO, just the webs, or our Instagram. And you either can just book with us directly, which is preferred,
Which is DM on Instagram.
so booking with us directly is from our website. The Space, what's our website? No, the Space Orange County. What's our website?
Yeah, let's figure that out.
This is bad because
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
I mean,
Space.
because I think that's the other thing. Like when I made the studio, the Space OC wasn't available. At least something wasn't available. And
OC is tough. Is a tough name
it's
to find
tough.
for
So
anything.
I wanted everything to be cohesive.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, it's the spaceorangecounty.com.
So the space spelled out Orange County.
The spaceorangecounty.com.
The spaceorangecounty.com. And what's
Yeah.
your Instagram?
The Instagram for the space is the Space OC.
The Space OC.
Yeah. So you either can book with us on our website and you'll see all the images of the studio, what people have shot there. And then there's a booking section where you can just book with us direct. You can select how many hours you want, what backdrops you want, and we'll have it all set up for you when you get there. And yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm looking for. Have you ever done like a wedding shoot in a professional studio?
Not a wedding shoot. I think the most I've done is a maternity shoot.
Got you.
Yeah, which is
Believe it or not, we've had a few wedding shoots. Like actually just
Really?
recently last month, I guess a bride and groom, their photographer botched their wedding.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's
Yeah.
more like an after thing. So it's not
Yeah.
a day of thing, but it's like,
Okay.
hey, let's put on our wedding dress, our wedding,
Yeah.
stuff, and then let's go to a studio. That sounds actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like a black and white setup, and
Yeah.
I bring a bride and groom in, and
Yep.
we don't have to worry about the stress of the wedding.
Right.
I get all the poses I want. We
Yep.
switch. I'm gonna try doing
That's
that.
like the biggest thing about the studio space is like the stress of it is not
Yeah.
having the stress of being outside and
Yes.
being in the heat or rushing the fight light. People love
You're in control.
Yeah, you're in control. You're in control.
Absolutely.
I like that
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, brother, this was an amazing journey talking to you about your war room, your business, your relationship. We've learned a lot. I'm very, very inspired by what you've accomplished.
Thank you.
And this, without a doubt, is one of many episodes and
Definitely.
many collaborations we'll do in the future.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. Definitely an honor.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Hope.
Brother,
So,
$1 million. Good?
Fire.
Is that good?
Lao.
Yeah, thank you for remembering I completely forgot about talking about the space itself, like because we're talking around it,
Yeah.
but we never went in.
Yeah.
So Sergio, thank you for swooping in.
Like I wanted to know more.
You did two saves. You saved the hair, you saved this hawk, and now